everybody! I'm trying something a little bit new today. I'm going to do an acrylic and alcohol ink. I have these 3 colors from Ranger. They came in a 3-pack. This is Butterscotch. This one is Stream. And this one is Wild Plum. I just got these from Joanne, I believe. I'm not going to work with the Wild Plum. I'm just going to work with mainly Stream and a little bit of Butterscotch if I'm up to it. But that'll be for a little bit later. When I do work with the alcohol inks, I have a straw, a paintbrush, just a basic one, a sponge to create a little bit of the flat texture if I want to, and then I have this makeup sponge that I can dab to create some kind of effect. I did do a test run. I poured the white acrylic down and then I dropped some of each and then blew each of the colors into each other so I could see how they blended. And then I also tried it on this, it's a bamboo mixed media pack. And before I said I thought I might have got it at Walmart, but it's actually from Germany. So it's pretty porous, so you can tell right here that the alcohol ink soaks in really quick, and it doesn't have any kind of veiny effects like it does there in the acrylic. So I decided I'm just going to go forward with pouring the acrylic first and then the alcohol ink after. Okay, so I have 2 acrylic colors here. I have white with Liquitex Basics, just a white, and my pouring medium, 60% glue, 40% water. And I have it fairly thin because I want a pretty thin coat for my canvas. And then my other color, even though it's not a color, is this FolkArt Metallic in Pearl White. So my ratio on these to keep it pretty thin is about, I'd say 1 to 1.5 paint to pouring medium. So I want to have the white on the corners and then have the metallic throughout, kind of drizzled. I want like a streamline effect and then have some of the alcohol ink go from edge to edge or corner to corner. So I'll start with my white. Okay, I'm back. I had to wash my hands because that was super messy, but I love the way this is looking. It's really like a gorgeous marble kind of effect, and unfortunately I poured my white, even though it was the same consistency as the metallic, it looked as if my white, 1, it was clumpy, so I'm glad I poured that off, and 2, it was a bit thicker. So even though it looks consistent in the cup, it's always good to do a test run or just be ready to adjust. So I'm just gonna torch this for any bubbles. Now this is just a little baby torch, so I'm getting fairly close, but not staying in one spot for too long. otherwise I could burn my acrylic. And there isn't any silicone oil or anything in here, so I don't have to worry about cells and achieving those today. That looks a little like the white didn't get mixed up here. Just mix that around a little. There we go. So I'm just shaking up my alcohol ink. And then to the side here, I have a little cup with my dropper, whatever you call that, dropper. And then I have 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay. Have that on standby. So when you drop your alcohol ink onto the canvas and you want it to disperse, or you want it to be lighter, a lighter shade than the drop that you get, just drop some isopropyl alcohol on it, and then that'll tone it down a little bit. You can see here on my test card, again, there's acrylic underneath, and then here, right here, I've just left a drop. That's a fully saturated drop, left alone, unblown, no isopropyl alcohol. And then here, I dropped 1 drop of isopropyl alcohol on top of it and then blew it out. So you can see the difference between the highly saturated drop without and with. So I think what I want to do is have more dense colors toward the corner and just have them kind of meet together in the middle. Gosh, this looks so pretty. Okay, so we'll get started. So I think that turned out really, really pretty. I don't want to go any further and add any of the butterscotch like I thought I might, but I'm just sitting back checking it out, and just a couple things to note. You definitely want to be aware of how hard you're blowing, the kind of movements you're making with your straw, and that kind of thing. So if you're looking to get more of this kind of veining that's happening, if you want to blow the acrylic into the alcohol ink, let it sit for a second and then disperse. I really like how some of this has more of the veining, and then it's kind of repeated out over here, but yeah, just really pay attention to what you're doing. And then of course, when you're blowing acrylic paint in either direction, but I noticed when I blew, there was some splattering that happened over here in the corner, and then a little bit over here. So if you want to prevent that from happening, just watch how hard you're blowing toward these edges. I think that's what happened over here is I wanted to make this effect right here and have this section go out a little bit, and then it plop, made some blue spatter over here in my white. So it's not that big of a deal to me. I don't know if I'll clean it up or not. I feel like if you go to clean up something like that, then you're just gonna do more damage than good. And remember, artists always fiddle, and sometimes they should just leave it alone. I say that, and then 2 seconds from now I'm probably gonna fiddle with it, but we'll see. I think I'll just dip in. Here I go. I think I'll just dip in and kind of get up just these really big dots that I don't like. Not really doing anything for the composition here, so I mean, if I wanted to do this for every little splatter, I could, I guess, but it doesn't make that much of a difference to me. So I just want to get rid of the really big glaring ones that I don't like. So I'm just dipping my stick in and then rolling it. So that way that just the edge can pick up that little dot. And then I don't mess up the paint that's underneath it too much. I think if you wanted to grab some Q-tips or something, that might make it easier. I actually kind of like some of the spatter that's happening out toward the edge. If I see a little hair, good thing I'm going through and fixing it. Just make sure when you are dipping or fixing or wiping or whatever, you wipe your stick off, so that way each time you go back in you don't contaminate your paint. Because if you don't wipe it off and you're trying to get these little splatters out, then you're just going to put more splatters in there. You don't want that. Okay, some of these are really cool. It kind of looks like spores or something. So I'm going to leave those. It looks like this is just like, whew, here you go, here's spores. Or pollen, or I don't know. Yeah, so I'll take you guys down for a close-up, and wow, I think this is really pretty. It's probably one of my favorites I've done so far. Check it out. I'm trying to get this at an angle so you don't get so much of the overhead light in there, but we'll take you down and look at some of these really cool effects. Okay, so some of these areas, sorry, focus. See these little flaky bits of teal? I might try to go in there and grab up some of those. That is alcohol residue. So the alcohol is going to stick to itself more than it will stick to anything else. But those are perfect little areas to drop your isopropyl alcohol into, and then you get these great kind of smoky effects, or the little speckle effects. And out here, so if you don't want the kind of flaky alcohol ink residue specks, like I have right here and here, then you can either go in, dip, and pick it up with your stick or whatever, or you can add some more isopropyl alcohol onto it and blow it out some more. But you risk compromising your your design that you've made. So it's up to you. And here's this other side. I might go in and fix this area here, just because it's very like whoosh, 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 back and forth. And I want it to look like it's going that way. So yeah, it's doing some really cool stuff. And I'm sure you guys know alcohol, or I'm sorry, not alcohol ink, but ink in general. I'm sure you saw it over here, kind of where the light glares a little bit right here on this highly concentrated area of alcohol ink, where it has that kind of coppery film to it in the light. I wonder if it'll stay that way once it dries. And I wanted to give you guys a better view of what my white and pearl are doing. You can kind of see that marbling happening throughout. Very subtle. Okay. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you had as much fun as I did.